Touchdown! Oh, did you see that? Whoa, we scored?
Yeah, we scored going to the playoffs.
I can't believe I missed that.
Every time I'm buzzed, I spend too much time on my phone.
What? I should take your phone away.
No. I'll call for a ride.
Hey, why does my face look like that?
I'm playing with these new face filters.
Okay, you know what? Yep, that's mine.
Kevin, I need that back.
No.
Kevin!
I'm Ryan Newman, and since I started with Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives, I found out that some people think that they can't be an organ donor. The truth is, anyone can sign up to be an organ donor.
Anyone?
Anyone?
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Anyone can sign up to be an organ donor. So don't count yourself out because somebody's counting on you. Go to driventosavelives.org and sign up today.
But my heart's going to you, Ryan.
Love that shirt.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another night of iRacing action here on the National Racing Network. Tonight, the stars and cars of the the ESRA INDYCAR Series. My goodness, it's Thursday, not Wednesday. The ESRA INDYCAR Series taking on Pocono Raceway. 2.5 miles of tricky triangle. The last time we saw fog this thick, Chris Buescher was taking victory lane. Well, taking to, I guess, the makeshift victory lane, located kind of right outside the media center and directly behind the regular victory lane in the pit paddock area. But looking forward to tonight's race, round number 2 of the Sim Racers, or the, goodness, why am I doing that? The ESRA INDYCAR Series Championship for fall 2022. Taking a look at the point standings here as we get ready to qualify. Well, I guess the race results from 1 week ago. Matt Wagner picking up the win 1 week ago to kick off this season. Cars already heading out onto the racetrack, including this guy, Connor Baldwin. And there you can see it. Fog is thick. That might even be 3 C's on the thickness of the fog up here in beautiful Long Pond, Pennsylvania. The longest straightaway in racing before the drivers are going to head off and dive down into turn number 1, modeled after the old Trenton Motor Speedway. 14 degrees of banking dumps you out onto the Long Pond straightaway. And up towards turn number 2, banked 9 degrees, 12 minutes, the same as the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Track administration offices just there in the background. Then down into turn number 3, almost board flat, only 6 degrees of banking. Designed after the Milwaukee Mile. Connor Baldwin coming around to put lap number 1 on the board. Got to keep an eye out for him. He's going to be quick. 41.609 seconds the lap time for Connor Baldwin. Good lap for Christian Jasper as well. 41.623, 41.62 with a 3 for Christian Jasper. Running the Mercedes F1-esque paint scheme. Vic Aldrich moving up to second quick on the board at a 41.618. Still nobody catching Connor Baldwin. New quick time. It's going to be this guy, Christopher Hill, at a 41.596. Oh, my goodness. Absolutely hauling the mail. Christopher Hill's first lap time, 216.398 miles per hour. New quick time, it's going to be Joshua Tucker getting up to the top of the board, 41.561 seconds. 41.56 with a 216.549 miles per hour. Christian Jasper going to clock in fifth quick. Jeff Destino finishing his run as well in the sixth position. Pick up the number 39 of James Watson as he makes his way off at turn number 2. Watson coming around lap number 1 for Watson. Did not score. So James is going to have to do some work here to get up on the board. Qualifying, he's told us, always his nemesis. Lap number 2 on the board for James Watson, and it will be 13th. Quick 41.733 seconds. We'll pick up defending and 3-time champ Matt Wagner as he makes his way around. Watson's lap time 41.73 with a 3,215.657 miles per hour. Absolutely insane how tight this field is, though. Watson 13th quick, and he's only 17 hundredths. Well, call it a tenth and a half or so, I guess, off of quick time. Lap number 1 coming up on the board for Matt Wagner, and it will be 7th quick at a 41.63, 41.629 seconds. And that's all Matt Wagner's got, so he's going to line up 7th quick now. 216.195 miles per hour. Still out on the racetrack is Ty Richter. 18 cars on the entry list tonight waiting for Richard Fletcher and Joseph Morales. 41.801 the lap time of record, and that will be it for qualifications. Joshua Tucker going to be your quick timer on the board. Field starting to slot into their grid positions, and as we get ready to take a look here, get you a look from high overhead, you can really see how dense the fog is out here. Talk to you a little bit about the weather conditions. They're absolutely going to play a role here tonight, presented by our friends at the Weather Center. Offensively accurate weather for eastern Pennsylvania. 79-degree ambient temperature, 97% humidity, winds out of the north and still. How about the track temperature, though? 115 degrees. I'm not quite sure. It says skies are clear. Obviously, it's foggy. I guess the skies are clear, but the ground is not. May have to get an explanation from Peter over there at the weather on how that one could be possible. Everybody lined up on the grid, and let's take a look here and tell you where everybody will be starting. Joshua Tucker, your quick timer, 41.561 seconds. Coming out to a lap time of, or lap speed of 216.549 miles per hour. 34 thousandths of a second back, Christopher Hill. Connor Baldwin and Vic Aldrich going to make up row number 2. Drew White, Christian Jasper, identical times to the 1,000th of a second. They will take up the third row. Matt Wagner, only 7 thousandths back of the third row. He's going to line up alongside Jeff Destino in row number 4. Row 5 is going to have Cullen Johnston and Luis Velasquez finally seeing a 1/10 of a second separating first through 9th on the grid as they roll off here. Jason Hand and TJ McMurray going to be on row number 6. We know TJ is not a fan of the tricky triangle. See if that opinion changes over the course of the night. Gary Corley and James Watson going to line up on row number 7. Couple of quick race cars back there. Don't be surprised to see either one of those guys start to make a run towards the front. Row number 8 will have Dylan Thomas and Ty Richter, Joseph Morales, and Richard Fletcher scheduled to start on row number 9. Jason Hand will be at the very least, starting from pit lane. So everybody on the inside lane from 13th place, Gary Corley, on up, or on back, I should say, is going to move up 1 row. Turn 2, the site of several absolutely massive accidents in the NTT IndyCar Series, and quite frankly, kind of what was the ultimate downfall of the return to Pocono. The field making their way through a gloomy turn 3. What turn 4? There isn't one here. That's what the wall says. The safer barrier on the outside of the racetrack. But as always, race fans, the start of the ESRA INDYCAR Series going to be all yours. Caution is out. Yellow flag on the speedway. We have trouble early, and it's going to be Luis Velasquez. That car already junked, the front end torn off of it. Let's take a look and see what happened in turn number 1 to Luis Velasquez. Oh, man, big hit into the outside wall. That was Ty Richter having a big-time issue. Man, that car of Ty Richter is going to be junk as well. Oh, just lost it on cold tires getting into turn 1. Nowhere for Velasquez to go, already committed to the outside of the racetrack. But that's going to be 2 cars junked early in this one. Of note, TJ McMurray heading down pit lane as well. Oh, and he's going to slide through the box. Well, if it wasn't his box, he slid through somebody's box. Ty Richter having to take the toe in. And we will pick up race leader Joshua Tucker. First caution coming on lap number 1. Hearing that it was likely to be a 2-stop strategy. If you went full rich fuel mix 1 running out front all by yourself, you could get 23 to 24 laps out of a tank of fuel. With this caution flag, it may, that's an operative word, may get everybody to where they can make it on 2 stops, because you didn't need to save that much fuel. The ratio about 2 to 1, laps under caution to laps under green. If you could go 24, you needed 2 laps of yellow to make it a 2-stop race. That's what they've got here. Where the question really comes into play is that tires are not an absolute necessity on every pit stop. You could theoretically run a longer stint at the beginning, take tires there, and then do a fuel-only stop and only take as much fuel as you need for your final stop. The more yellows we get, the more likely that type of scenario could come into play. Drivers were telling us in the pre-race that you could easily make 2 stints on the tires, but they felt that 3 might be a little bit too much of an ask. Connor Baldwin, I think, is trying to draft under the caution flag. Get the close-up here. Absolutely tucked up right under the attenuator of Christopher Hill. Trying to save as much fuel as humanly possible. Yellow comes out. You're going to drop to fuel map 8. And could we see Baldwin come down pit lane this time? No, we will not. Yeah, Julian, I'm agreeing with you here. Let's get the focus back on race leader Joshua Tucker, and then we'll get the comment up here from Julian Altena. What the fog is this, man? Yeah, buddy. It's something, that's for sure. Actually, excuse me, 1 week ago, Joshua Tucker picking up the win over Connor Baldwin and James Watson. That was, oh my goodness, how can I forget that one? Practically 5 wide at the finish. Contact coming to the checkered flag between Connor Baldwin, I believe it was Matt Wagner. His car's spinning through the infield. That one was insane. I don't know that we're going to get that much insanity out of Pocono. Green flag back in the air here at lap number 5. Everybody staying in line here as they get to turn number 1. They're going to try to make it through. Seeing the comment coming in here from Julian. My minimum wage can't afford a $30 season entry. DM me. If that's what's holding you back from running this one, we'll work something out. Side-by-side battle for the race lead through the tunnel turn. That's never a great idea. 2 wide through turn 3 is going to work. Joshua Tucker at the line, barely holding off Connor Baldwin. They'll be in line, nose to tail. 3rd place, Christopher Hill sliding back just a little bit. Actually, same deal there for Connor Baldwin through turn 1 as well. Decent little fight here going on for 4th, 5th, and 6th. Christian Jasper, Victor Aldrich, and Drew White. White and Aldrich were side by side through 3. Going to be White leading at the line. Wagner coming around Vic Aldrich now as well. Wonder if Aldrich isn't maybe in a little bit of a big-time fuel save mode here. Oh, great battle further back in the pack here as well. James Watson tucking right in behind Dylan Thomas. Got to try the crossover move. Watson way down to the inside of turn number 2. With how dense the air is this pool, definitely going to make these drivers a little bit braver, getting a little bit more downforce than you might ordinarily expect. Watson able to clear the pass. Julian saying he's got somewhere to be most Friday mornings. All right. Lap number 8 already ticking up on the scoreboard. We're only 8 minutes and 45 seconds into this one. Another race coming up after this one. The Indy Pro 2000 Championship will take the NRN airwaves. Round number 2 of the broadcast championship for Indy Pro 2000. Heading to Watkins Glen International, making a visit to Das Boot. Man, there is action all over the mid-pack here now. Watson still trying to clear Dylan Thomas. Now that they've got the tires up to full temperature, man, Watson going to lose some ground there through turn 3. Richard Fletcher going to try the move down to the inside of the racetrack. We'll see. One car up on the outside, too. That's looks like Jeff Destino way up on the outside. Sliding up a little bit further forward, Matt Wagner and Vic Aldrich. New fastest lap of the race belongs to Drew White, 41.478 seconds. Battle for third, Jasper Baldwin, book it. Christian Jasper up to P2. I'll steal Rob Howden's line once a season. Joshua Tucker going to hold on to the race lead. Baldwin back to third. Jasper already going to work here on catching up to Joshua Tucker. That one's getting close. A little bit deeper. Vic Aldrich, Gary Corley battling. That's Aldrich running just ahead of the bright blue machine of Gary Corley. The Jimmy Johnson colors on Gary Corley's number 78 machine. Slide back a little bit here. Oh, no, we can't do that one. We've got a battle heating up for the race lead. Christian Jasper on the outside of race leader Joshua Tucker. He'll get the pass completed. Christian Jasper going to head to the point. He's got one lap led in the books. Tucker fighting back. Oh, man, they almost made contact at the entrance to turn number 3. Looks like Tucker may have him cleared, but Jasper going to have the run at the stripe. Going to be Joshua Tucker. Tucker now having led 11 laps. Jasper picking up the single lap lead. Great 3-car battle about to be 4 with Connor Baldwin running 3rd, Christopher Hill catching up on 4th. Even 5th place, Drew White may have something to say about this before too long. I would say most likely before we get to the first round of pit stops that we're now expecting about lap 25, maybe lap 26. This is round number 2 of a 10 consecutive week stretch to start the season. Coming up next week, going to be the New Hampshire Motor Speedway Road Course with the South Oval, followed by the the Oval at New Hampshire, the Charlotte Motor Speedway Oval, the Indy Road Course, followed by the Indy Oval, the Chicago Street Circuit, Phoenix Raceway, and Chicagoland Speedway. Gary Corley thought about having a look on Vic Aldrich down into turn 1. He'll do it this time. Fills the mirror of the 98 machine, but that's about it. See what he can do here down the long pond straightaway. Same deal, just not close enough. Slides a little bit wide, might try the crossover. Not close enough. Pretty tight battling amongst the top 8 cars, all separated by only 3 seconds. Then you have a 3-second gap back to 9th place Dylan Thomas. Then another full second back to James Watson. Kind of 2 packs of cars running around the racetrack right now. Christian Jasper is your overall race leader, followed by Connor Baldwin. Tucker Hill White, the top 5. One of the things I absolutely love about the Indy cars at Pocono, this place was designed with open wheel cars in mind. Indianapolis 500 champion Roger Ward doing the design work for Doctors Joseph and Rose Mattioli, the original owners of the facility. Took 3 of the best corners in IndyCar racing, laid them out on a big, massive plot of ground in the Pocono Mountains of Pennsylvania. In a modern IndyCar, you really can run 2 wide. Definitely through turn 1, a little bit through turn 3, turn 2. Much like Indianapolis, if you're brave enough, you can do it. The humps and bumps that existed in turn 2 for many, many years, addressed with the repave that happened several years ago, really made this place suitable for the IndyCars. Still have all 18 out on the racetrack as we work lap number 18. Ty Richter, Luis Velasquez both going to be scored 2 laps down, as Christian Jasper puts lap number 19 up on the board. Tightest fight on the racetrack is the one for the race lead, so we'll hang out up here. Several nominees for the hard charger early on already. Christian Jasper, your race leader, up 5, but he's not even the leader in the clubhouse. 4 drivers tied at +6, including Gary Corley, Dylan Thomas, Joseph Morales, and Richard Fletcher. The biggest loser of the night goes to the 54 of Luis Velasquez. He is currently down 8 after qualifying in the 10th position. Connor Baldwin, a big-time fan of the high line, and he is doing it once again here. Runs a very high line through turn number 1. Things really settling down now as we work lap number 21. This is the only battle that's within a half second right now, is Jasper and Baldwin. Gary Corley now getting down to about a third of a second back of Matt Wagner. But as that gap opens up, the gap for the race lead closes once again down the front stretch. Only 3 to 4 more laps until we get to our first set of green flag pit stops. And quite frankly, that is exciting here at Pocono as well. You are full blast off of turn 3, and the pit speed limiter starts well down pit lane. So you don't have to really start grabbing the brakes until you've got the car completely straightened out. It's a matter of guts of how tight can you get it to where you slow down just enough that you're at pit road speed limit and on the button right at the line that marks the start of the pit lane. Pocono, the scene of some wild incidents on pit road as well. Elio Castro Neves basically taking a tire to the head while driving for Team Penske. I want to say 2017-ish, 2018. Battle for the 4th position. Drew White coming around Christopher Hill. He'll get that pass completed off of turn 1. Also, TJ McMurray coming around James Watson for the 11th position, all kind of right at the same time. There's McMurray and Watson battling for 11th. Mark Donohue, the late, great Mark Donohue, claimed the win in the first IndyCar event at the Pocono Raceway, held in 1972, I believe it was. The first win in the IndyCar Series for Team Penske. Roger Penske, a native of Ohio, but called Eastern Pennsylvania home for most of his life. The entire Penske operation was based out of Reading, Pennsylvania, not too far away from Pocono, about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours or so. In fact, all of the Penske businesses were based out of Reading at one point. The engine made famous in the 1994 Indianapolis 500, the Mercedes Ilmor engine, the Beast. Not built at Penske Racing. Oh, we'll get to that one back here in a minute as we've got race leader Christian Jasper on pit road at lap number 26, and he is coming almost alone. Gary Corley also going to come down pit lane with your race leader. Also coming in is Richard Fletcher. Jasper up on the jacks. He's going to make the tire change this time. Down and away. 8.45 seconds, the time of the stop for Christian Jasper. Now Joshua Tucker. Drew White going to come down. Oh, big lockup. There may have been contact. There was contact. Take a look at the front end of Drew White's machine. Well, it looked like that right front wheel was all sorts of out of kilter. We'll see if there's going to be any damage repair here to Drew White's machine. And the caution is out. Yellow flag on the racetrack. Trouble for Richard Fletcher. Oh, what a tough break for some of the cars that came down pit road, including Christian Jasper. He did not lose a lap, so he should cycle through to the front of the field. However, some of the cars that were on pit lane, Matt Wagner coming in this time, that one may be a penalty for entering a closed pit. Let's recycle some of the stories we have for you here. See what happened to Richard Fletcher cutting back onto the racetrack. Oh yeah, car just snapped loose. Got it up barely onto the banking, but slowed down on the apron. That was enough to bring out the caution flag. So Wagner heading back onto the racetrack. Connor Baldwin going to be coming down this time. Gary Corley, Richard Fletcher, Dylan Thomas all being caught one lap down. Surf Gonzo checking in. Looks like there's a wildfire near the track. It's so hazy. Yeah, it's weird. We take a look at the wide shots. Skies are clear according to the weather in iRacing. Clear skies, 79-degree ambient temperature, 116 for the track temperature. But now all of our leaders making their way down pit lane. Connor Baldwin, Christopher Hill, Joseph Morales, TJ McMurray. This is going to cycle Christian Jasper back to the lead of the race. Race off a pit lane will be won by Drew White, Joshua Tucker, Vic Aldrich. Let's see. Actually, no, going to be Connor Baldwin winning the race off a pit road. Jasper, White, Tucker, and Aldrich all stopping 2 laps ago. And it's going to be Baldwin, Hill, McMurray, Morales, Watson, and Destino, the top 10. Matt Wagner back in his pit box for what appears to be a long work session here. Let's see if we can't sneak a word in here with Matt Wagner as he sits on pit lane. And Matt, not the place you want to be here, sitting on pit lane while everybody else is circulating around. Okay, well, it looks like we may not have Matt Wagner available for us here, but Cullen Johnston also on pit lane for an extended service as well. Matt Wagner getting back out onto the racetrack. 1 minute, 6 seconds, the time of the stop. Doesn't lose a lap. And we will have a couple of wave around cars. They'll come around the iRacing safety car. That includes, I believe, Ty Richter and Richard Fletcher is what it looks like. So Christian Jasper going to cycle back around to the head of the field. Again, this caution coming at an absolutely perfect time for these drivers. The couple of extra laps got you to lap 26, lap 27 because of the time we ran under caution at lap 1. This is now going to get them, should get them to their second window. We're down to 45 laps to go. Everybody should, and that's a big time operative word, should be able to make it. We'll see if any of the top 4 have to do a little bit of fuel saving. Because they did a couple of laps at full speed before the caution came out. Great paint scheme on the car of Christian Jasper. It looks like it's the Mercedes F1 scheme. However, and it sort of is, but fantastic job of working in the personal sponsors onto that race car. That is a fantastic touch. I like that one, Christian. We'll get ready to see the pace car come in. It'll make the hard left-hand turn. We'll go back to green flag racing. Green flag back in the air, 44 laps to go. Jasper got a fantastic restart. 3-4 wide down the front straightaway. This never ends well at Pocono. Connor Baldwin up the gut 3 wide. Oh man, somehow everybody makes it through off of turn number 1. Pocono is not your typical oval, as we've got a battle for the race lead. Drew White coming around Christian Jasper in the tunnel turn. Turn 1 at Pocono is sort of, instead of using dirt to build up the banking, it's sort of like they cut into the earth to dig out the corner. And what makes that really interesting is that turn 1 is a big dive off into the corner. You kind of get a feel for it there from on top. But then you see the cars, they kind of shot out and pop back up. Man, third place, Joshua Tucker just about getting into the safer barrier outside of the racetrack. Turn 2, sort of the same thing. You kind of dive into the corner and then it shoots you back out again. Turn 3 is so flat, it's built the same way. It's just the effect isn't as large. We've got Connor Baldwin and Chris Hill battling for position. Baldwin picking the 4th spot back up. Drew White picking up his 2nd lap lead. Christian Jasper now your overall leader with 16 markers as the race leader. A little bit deeper in the pack here. Vic Aldridge, TJ McMurray, James Watson battling. That's going to be 6th, 7th, and 8th on the racetrack. 9th place, Joseph Morales going to be there right with him. Oh, hold on to it. Little bit of squirrely, little bit of side by side. Just further up ahead, Connor Baldwin still fighting with Joshua Tucker. He'll get the great run off of 3 and open up 10 car lengths. Drew White going to have to deal with Christian Jasper, this time through turn 3. Jasper going to be up on the outside of the racetrack. Wow, White absolutely shot out of a cannon out of 3, but here comes Jasper to the line. Going to be Drew White at the line, but it might be Jasper by the time they get to turn 1. White has to run way high up the racetrack. Connor Baldwin, new fastest lap of the race, 41.461. Baldwin back up to the 3rd position. That's where he started. Our charger of the race right now, Joseph Morales, up 8 to run 9th. Cullen Johnston now the big loser of the night. He runs 18th, down 9. Baldwin able to clear Christian Jasper off at turn number 3. Going to put Connor Baldwin back up to P2, and now he'll go to work trying to chase down Drew White. Baldwin almost picking up the win 1 week ago for the 2nd year in a row. Early accident had him on pit lane, taking out the backup car. Nearly picked up the win. 2 races completed here at the Pocono Raceway for the ESRA INDYCAR Series. The first of those coming July of 2021. Matt Wagner picking up the win. Let's see. Let's confirm that one. Actually, Mario Miranda getting the win over Benjamin Combs and James Watson. Came back in Season 2, and Matt Wagner picked up the win the last time we were here. 41.685 was the fastest lap of record that time in the race. The vast majority of the field has bettered that lap record in this visit to Pocono. Just past the halfway point, Drew White going to be credited with leading the halfway lap. You were entered into the Gillette Halfway Challenge. You sent a postcard in or something. You can maybe pick yourself up a Chevy Corvette if you were watching an Indy 500 in the mid-90s. White, Baldwin, Jasper separated by a tenth apiece as they get back to 1. It's interesting to watch the difference in lines, especially exiting turn 1. Connor Baldwin very content to dive the car into the corner early and just kind of let it ride all the way out to the wall. This time he's going to run the high line, get some fresh air onto the front wings of his Texas A&M number 19. Actually, we'll have to check in with Connor Baldwin, how you get fog on a clear day. Connor, a member of the Texas A&M Student Meteorological Society, majoring in meteorology down there. We'll ask him that question later on in the race here. But top 5 separated out from 6th place, Vic Aldrich. Aldrich has about 0.6 of a second on James Watson. Watson doesn't have nearly as comfortable of a gap back to TJ McMurray and Joseph Morales. Little bit past halfway in this run. Majority of the field getting between 26 and 29 laps on their set of tires, their first stop. That's stint dictated by fuel consumption. We'll pick up Tucker and Hill as they make their way towards turn 1. A little bit deeper in the pack, Jeff Destino, Jason Hand battling side by side. Gosh, the speeds they carried around this place were absolutely insane. Only 1 second separating your top 5 from Drew White back to 5th place running Christopher Hill. Maybe have a little bit of fuel saving going on here. Big dive down to the inside for Jason Hand. He's trying to get, or excuse me, Jeff Destino. That battle will continue. It's going to be Destino holding on to the spot to 1. Trouble for Gary Corley out on the racetrack. Take a look at the Hot Shoe Raceway instant replay. See what happened. Oh, man, there it is. Junked right front corner of the Carvana machine for the 78 of Gary Corley. He slides to a stop in turn number 3, takes the tow, but it does not bring out a caution. Things start to tighten up at the front just a little bit once again. Connor Baldwin back to within 2/10 as we get to turn number 1. At this point, I would imagine everybody probably going to be fairly content to stay in line. If you're not leading the race, you could be running in map 2, maybe map 3. The more fuel you have left in the tank when you get to the final pit stop, the less time you're going to spend on pit lane. Thank everybody tuned in on YouTube and on Twitch. Hopefully you're enjoying the show here this evening. Another race coming up at 10:15 in the East. It'll be the Indy Pro 2000 Championship taking on Watkins Glen International, but still 28 and change laps left to go here at Pocono. Christian Jasper going to make the run on Baldwin, and he'll get that pass completed easily through turn 3. Put Jasper back up to P2. Only about 5, 6, maybe 7 laps away here from the next and final set of pit stops. You would almost think, with the fact that you won't go a lap down, making the pit stop here at Pocono, probably worthwhile to try a little bit of an undercut. At least where you make the stop as soon as your window opens. Jasper gets back down to the inside of the racetrack. Drew White taking over the mantle of lap leader for the race, having led 17. Jasper wants the mark back, but White's going to fight him back big time. Man, they're both way high through the tunnel turn. Going to bring Baldwin back into the discussion here before they get to the exit of 3. White led the lap at the line. Jasper back to the inside of the racetrack, down to 26 to go. And now we're in the window. You could make it 26, maybe 27 laps. If you stop now and the caution comes out, you're going to be in good shape. However, if you can make it an extra 4 or 5 laps, you're going to be spending less time on pit road if it's a green flag stop. Because you only got to take as much fuel as you need to get you to the end of the race. Slide back here, pick up Joshua Tucker, Christopher Hill. They're running at the tail end of the top 5. Gap about 0.8 of a second to third place running Baldwin. Richard Fletcher on his way down pit lane. He is going to be the first driver to take advantage, and it puts everybody else into that Paul Tracy danger zone. Because now Fletcher would cycle through to the race lead if the caution were to come out. Nice little scuffle here between Joseph Morales and James Watson. Going to be TJ McMurray following in close behind. First of the leaders down pit lane, and it's going to be Drew White. White making the run down pit lane with 23 laps to go. Dylan Thomas also on the pit lane. Thomas being scored 1 lap down in 14th. White very quickly down and away, 8.7 seconds, the time of the stop for Drew White. Now we got a bunch of the race leaders coming down. Christian Jasper, Connor Baldwin. Both of those drivers teamed up in the Destino Motorsports camp. That's going to be Jasper Baldwin, Dylan Thomas, Jeff Destino, and Luis Velasquez. Mediocre Motorsports with Cullen Johnson, Jason Hand, TJ McMurray, and the Team Watson Racing Armada of Christopher Hill, Drew White, James Watson, Joshua Tucker, Matt Wagner, Ty Richter, and Vic Aldrich. Joseph Morales, the lone privateer in the field. Baldwin and Jasper down and away, almost identical times, 8.4, 8.7 seconds. Now James Watson, Vic Aldrich, Jason Hand make their way down pit lane. Wonder if we're going to see anybody go fuel only here. The drivers, some of them talked about the fact that you can make the tires last 2 stints. However, if you need a full tank of fuel, you're worth it to take the tires because the change is about the same as adding a full tank of fuel. Watson is down and away, as is Vic Aldrich. Now Matt Wagner, TJ McMurray going to make their way down pit lane. Down to 20 laps to go. Tucker, Hill, Morales, Destino, the 4 cars that have yet to stop. And I would imagine they're going to have to come in this time. Wagner, McMurray down and away. Here come your race leaders. Big shot. Wow, what a ton of time gained by Christopher Hill at pit entry. He came from about 20 car lengths back to about a car length and a half behind Joshua Tucker. Joseph Morales, Jeff Destino on the pit lane. Drew White being scored about 33 seconds back as they stand. However, that's obviously going to close up in a big-time hurry as the leaders are making their final pit stops of the race. Tucker down and away, 8.1 seconds. Great stop there. Jeff Destino, unfortunately, he's going to have a little bit of repair work going on there. Going to put Connor Baldwin to the lead of the race. He'll have Drew White tailing Christian Jasper running in third, and it's about 3 seconds now to Joshua Tucker, Chris Hill, Joseph Morales. Christopher Hill going to be fighting with Joshua Tucker. This is the tightest fight on the speedway right now, the battle for 4th and 5th. Joseph Morales sitting about 3/4 of a second back in 6th. Oh man, we got to get back to the front of the field here. Connor Baldwin had closed to within about a 1/10 and a half at the entrance to turn 3. That high lane just doing Baldwin absolutely no favors. Gets the great toe down the front stretch though. New fastest lap of the race belongs to Matt Wagner, 41.404 seconds. And now it is go time. Nobody has to worry about fuel. Quite frankly, nobody worrying about tires either. This one going to work out to be about a 23-lap shoot to the finish. The big if being if we don't get a caution flag. Baldwin looking inside of turn number 2. He's going to be right there. Going to force Drew White up into the outside lane through 3. And that, I think, is where you're going to see the pass for the win made. Because, well, let's see. White got a great run off the corner. I didn't think you could get the pass made by the start-finish line. And Drew White just carrying so much more speed through the center of the corner. Baldwin back to the inside, and he'll get the pass completed this time. Slides up, takes a little bit of the air off the front of White's nose. That's going to allow him to open up, call it a car length and a half as they head down the Long Pond straightaway. Baldwin tries to snake out, break the draft just a little bit. White going to get a great run through the corner, and here comes Christian Jasper. Drew White, the only Team Watson racing car up there in the top 3. It's a couple of Destino Motorsports entries for Jasper and Baldwin. How will teammates interacting with each other play in this last 13 laps? White again looks to the outside. Baldwin going to make him do it the hard way. White way up towards the safer barrier. Tries to get it wound up. Oh, they almost made contact at the exit at 2. White to the inside. Little bit of a hip check. Baldwin slides up the racetrack. Drew White going to be back into the lead. Here comes Baldwin down the front straightaway. Drag race to the line. Oh, that was tight. I think it was Drew White at the line, but not by much. Now Christian Jasper going to tuck up behind the teammate as they get to turn number 1. Fantastic battle here at the front of the field at Pocono. Quite frankly, a great fight for 4th and 5th between Chris Hill and Joshua Tucker as well. But oh, great slipstream by Jasper. Not able to take advantage of it, though, through turn number 3. White, big dive to the inside. Baldwin tried to throw the block. There was nothing there. White slides way up the racetrack. Baldwin even higher. Huge toe. Oh, man, they are throwing blocks all over the place now down the straightaways. And the caution is out. Yellow flag is out. Connor Baldwin is your race leader. 10 laps to go, this time by the start-finish line. And it's going to be trouble on the racetrack. TJ McMurray having an issue. See what happened to TJ here off at turn number 1. Oh, clips the wall. Oh, massive hit into the inside safer barrier. That was huge. for TJ McMurray. He said he hates this place in the pre-race. Don't think he's going to be feeling any better about it now. Is that number 48 car, well, is it still running? Yeah, he's able to drive that thing back. Oh, man, then he hits the wall again. Yard sailed that number 48 machine. Now, what's going to be interesting here is, are we going to see anything that resembles some, we'll say, team cooperation here? Let's see if we can't sneak a word in with our race leader, Connor Baldwin. Connor, you picked a fantastic time to get the pass made on Drew White just before the caution came out. What are the thoughts here on the restart now? Are you going to coordinate with the teammates and try to maybe skunk that Team Watson Racing car in the middle of you?
Oh, 100%. We're about to coordinate this this restart here, but actually I'm going to dive into the pits, try and see if I can get a new pair of tires. Oh, let's go. We got Drew. We dummied Drew. Let's go. That was the plan the whole way. Me and Christian orchestrated that. So yeah, we're pretty happy with our track position. I think we're going to try and keep that here. I think even with the older tires, we can get a good jump and use a good track position to maintain at least the top 5. Hopefully, we'll both be going for podium here.
All right, bud. Well, good luck the rest of the way here. That was fantastic getting that in here under the yellow flag. So thanks for checking in with us, and we'll see if we're talking to you here in a little bit.
Thank you.
Oh, that was awesome. Connor Baldwin checking in with us mid-skunking. I don't know if it was really a skunking of Drew White. Drew going to win the race off of pit road ahead of Christopher Hill, Matt Wagner, Vic Aldrich, Joseph Morales, James Watson, and Richard Fletcher to complete the top 10. Still 13 cars on the lead lap. It looks like, anyway. Destino, Thomas, and Richter, I believe, are either going to be catching back up. Let's see. Yeah, Destino is definitely on the lead lap. We'll see about Dylan Thomas and Ty Richter. They may be able to come around the pace car. Well, maybe not, because Baldwin is already there. So, yeah, Dylan Thomas, Ty Richter are going to be scored 1 lap down to your race leader. 8 1/3 laps to go here at the Tricky Triangle, and overtime is a thing in the ESRA IndyCar Series. See if we'll should be getting the 1 to go signal here this time. We'll see if we can get a quick word in here with Drew White. And Drew, the Destino Motorsports guys think they skunked you on the pit entry. I'm guessing the plan was come down, take tires, and give these guys hell.
Yeah, I think they're going to be really in for a rude awakening. I think tires is the right strategy to go, and Josh is up here too, and he's one of my teammates. I feel like we have a good idea of what we can do to make sure TWR gets a good finish here at the end.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of Team Watson Racing iron here behind these 2 Destino Motorsports cars. You guys, is there any coordination going on within the team to kind of game plan this restart?
I mean, I don't know. I think our plan is to make sure we're all find our way to get to the front without wrecking each other in the process. So whether it's Josh figures out a way to get in front of everyone first, or either Chris, Matt, me, or someone else, that's really the plan that we got going on.
All right, Drew. Good luck the rest of the way here. Hopefully we're talking to you again in just a few laps.
Hey, I appreciate it. Good luck, everyone. Thank you.
There you go. There's Drew White running in the 4th position behind teammate Joshua Tucker, who elected to stay out. Tucker only had 11 laps on the tires. Baldwin and Jasper only had 14 laps. I'm really interested to see what this fall off is going to look like. The 15 lap average is very consistent for Baldwin, Jasper, and Tucker. Definitely going to be interesting to watch here as we get down. It'll be 7 laps to go when we take the green flag. The biggest thing here is that Tucker, White, and Hill, they cannot get skunked on this restart. If Baldwin and Jasper are able to pull away by a wide margin, it may take 3 or 4 laps just to get caught back up. We'll see what it's going to look like. Baldwin, oh man, he's kind of Colton Hurd of the restart here. Green flag goes back in the air. It's a good restart for the entirety of the top 3. Nobody's going to be able to make the dive bomb into turn number 1, but what are the fresher tires on 4th place Drew White going to be worth? Well, the blimp shot's pretty much useless off of turn number 1. Still Baldwin, Jasper, Tucker, White, Hill, the top 5. 6 through 10, Wagner, Aldrich, Morales, Watson, and Fletcher. Jasper trying to cover the outside for the teammate. Connor Baldwin going to lead a very nice lap number 69. Puts his 10th lap lead up on the board. Here comes Drew White down to the inside. Big move, 2, 3 for 1. Drew White to the race lead. What a power move by Drew White. Baldwin and Jasper going to be right there, as are Tucker and Hill. They're 4 wide heading towards turn 2. There's no way that works. No, there's contact. Huge up into the wall. Christian Jasper tumbling down the straightaway. Higher than the catch fence. Oh my goodness. We've got a yard sale off at turn 2. Vic Aldrich going to be involved. Richard Fletcher, TJ McMurray, Jeff Destino, Matt Wagner involved in that one as well. Let's get you a look at the Hot Shoe Racewear instant replay. There's the contact, eerily reminiscent of Robbie Wickens' crash. And Jasper wildly tumbling down the straightaway. We got to replay this again from his onboard. Thank goodness for the halo. Connor Baldwin on pit lane, as is Vic Aldrich. Let's take a look and see if Baldwin got a piece of this. Oh yeah, Baldwin got a big hunk of this one. He was able to drive that car back. I don't think the same is true, though, for Vic Aldrich. Oh, no, Vic was able to... Oh, no, he got clipped right at the end as well. Wow, one car going up, airborne. Multiple cars airborne in this wreck. Oh, my goodness. So now the question is, who's left? The running order as it stands right now with 4 laps to go. Drew White, Josh Tucker, Joseph Morales, James Watson, Jeff Destino. I want to see the onboard camera of that from James Watson's perspective. What a piece of driving by James Watson to get that car woed up. My goodness. We got to talk to James here. James Watson, we just watched that replay from your onboard. How many new pairs of shorts are you going to need?
Yes.
That's the
All
correct
of them.
answer to that question. How did you get through that? I mean, we saw you obviously had some time to react, but you had cars flying past you as well, obviously not getting on the binders as quickly. That was insane.
I was like a ways away, like barely entering the tunnel turn, and I was able to see. I saw the 4 wide, and I lit off before any contact. I'm like, yeah, no, this isn't gonna. And then they hit. I'm like, yeah, that's what I was expecting. So I was just like coasting all the way through, like not even on the gas, just putting through.
Oh my goodness. Well, buddy, good luck the rest of the way here. We're down to 3 to go. We'll let you back to it, but good luck, and see if we're talking to you again in a little bit here.
Here's hoping.
Now, the other guy we have to check in with here under the caution flag, the pilot of the number 67, Christian Jasper. Christian, are you using a direct drive wheel? And if you are you okay? Are you in VR?
Yeah, I'm in VR. Funny enough, I'm actually pretty all right. I got some feelings on that, but we'll see what happens. Just gonna do my best, try to bring in some good points for the team. We had a pretty solid 1-2 going, but I guess new tires were really good. But tried our best to keep them behind us.
I'll tell you what, it was a heck of a run you and Connor had going on. You got a good jump on the restart. Maybe not a great one, but a good jump. Was that, I mean, was it literally just the fresh tires off of turn 1 that kind of set that whole thing up?
Yeah, that's really what it looks like, because we had solid runs and solid lines going through both 1 and 2, especially on that first lap, but they, the ones who had pit, they absolutely swamped us, so I do feel like new tires had a good bit to do with that. Personally feel maybe it was a little bit of a gutsy move taking it that wide going into 2, but, you know.
Yeah, 4 wide's not a good idea.
If the positions were switched, I don't know if I would have done the same thing. I probably would have and been like, damn, but I don't know. It's hard to call in the heat of the moment sometimes, so.
All right, bud. Well, glad you're not nauseous or anything, and hopefully we're talking to you next week.
Yes, sir.
There's Christian Jasper. We're getting ready to go back to green flag racing. It'll be 2 laps to go. This is not overtime. Lap 73 of 75 is on the board. Drew White is your race leader. Here comes Watson inside of Morales. Wow, big time momentum off the corner for Morales. Watson was almost clear by the middle of turn number 1. Here comes Joshua Tucker inside of Drew White for the race lead through 2. Tucker easily able to complete that pass, and he's on older tires. Tucker on 10-lap older rubber than Drew White. This shuffling is absolutely going to bring Morales and Watson back into play. White flag is out, 1 lap to go here at Pocono. White able to grab the lead as they hit turn number 1. Will he have it by the time they get to turn 2? Oh, Tucker starts to slide up the racetrack. That may be game, set, and match. Morales going to have a shot here on Tucker as they get to the tunnel turn. Tucker covers the inside line. Wow, Drew White way up against the safer barrier. This one could be wild down the stretch. Through turn 3 for the final time. Tucker way down on the inside of the racetrack. Morales up to the outside. Checkered flag will be in the air. Drew White wins at Pocono. Joseph Morales comes home second. Joshua Tucker third. What a finish to this one here at the Tricky Triangle. Drew Wright picking up the win. Morales, Tucker, the podium. Watson and Baldwin round out the top 5. Little bit of a Jeff Gordon-esque paint scheme on that number 15 of Drew White. And he is absolutely going to burn him down here at the start-finish line. All right, let's get to... Well, he's still burning them down here, but let's get to your race results. Make sure we have enough time for the victory lane interviews. Drew White, the winner by 1/3 of a second over Morales and Tucker. Watson and Baldwin, the top 5, as we mentioned. Jeff Destino, Richard Fletcher, Ty Richter, Vic Aldrich, Dylan Thomas, the top 10. Thomas, the first car, 1 lap down. Christian Jasper, Luis Velasquez, Matt Wagner, TJ McMurray, Chris Hill back through 15th. Going to be followed home by Cullen Johnston, Jason Hand, and Gary Corley. A race that took 1 hour and 7 minutes to complete. We'll get the cameras all ready to go here, and let's get you your victory lane interviews. First up with our race winner tonight, Drew White. Oh my goodness, I thought you had that in hand off of turn number 1. Something happened in turn 2. You were up near the safer barrier and you managed to hold on. Congratulations, that was a heck of a win.
Yes. I made a big mistake, and I wasn't paying attention to the line I was running. I was looking at my rear mirror too much, and I ended up having to lift. Otherwise, I probably would have hit the wall. And then I don't know. I think that would have been pretty embarrassing to Kyle Larson and like hit the outside wall coming out of turns 3 or something like that. But I'm just glad that I held on to it. It all worked out, and the strategy worked out. Like I said, I truly felt that tires were the way to go. I think when I was leading there, the last few laps before that second and last caution came out, I was dropping like 0.4, maybe a half a second by that point compared to fresh tires. So I knew if the fresh tires got a shot at the leaders, that if we get by them, it would be pretty easy to hold them off. As long as you don't like hit the wall in accident.
Well, what was your perspective on the mess that was 4 wide in turn 2? That it probably wasn't the greatest of ideas to begin with, but at some point somebody's got to back out.
Yeah, and 4 racers probably chose in that moment not to back out, which honestly might have not been the best choice. But you know, when you get people competing for a win there, especially right there at the end, I think each one of them would say that they would not back out in that instance. But from my standpoint, I was trying to give both Josh and Chris runs my draft, so they were the bottom and the top car. So I already knew that once I started to give Chris a bit of my draft, that was probably going to end horribly. But they were all committed, and I was already committed to helping them. But that's just a racing deal, I believe. You know, at the end of the day, it's just 4 drivers deciding not to back out, and that's just the result of that instance.
Well, and as it stands right now, without any post-race stuff going on, sitting 1 point back of Joshua for the points lead here. Joshua, you, and then Connor are kind of separating yourselves out. I'll also say Joseph Morales a little bit as well. Do you want to try to make this a 2-horse race as early in the season as you possibly can, when you know you have guys like Matt Wagner and Christian Jasper that are going to be quick every week?
I would love to. I'm not much of a. I know I'm not much of a road race person. I'm more of an oval guy. But definitely with the schedule we have, I believe that if you could just coast to the end of a lot of these road races, you could definitely put up a fight with a bunch of these people who are more versatile and are able to run well on both the road and the ovals, like Jasper. So, I don't know if it's going to be there's a lot of good racers. I would love for it to become a 2-way race between me and my teammate Josh, but Connor's a good driver. He's one of the most aggressive drivers. When it works out, and it pays out a lot of the time in his way. So, you know, he's going to be fighting a lot, and Jasper, Chris Hill, Matt, everyone's fighting hard. So I would, as much as I would love for it to become a 1-person race with me only, but that I don't think it'll happen this year. But I would love for it to happen.
All right, bud. Well, congratulations on the win here tonight. And before we let you go, make sure you get all those sponsor plugs and thank yous in.
Yeah, so if you get a chance, go to teamwatsonracing.com/setups, and you can definitely get a setup from over there. Like a lot of good people who make setups from NASCAR to dirt to sports cars to plenty. So if you go over there, take a look. You can check that out. Go to Let's Race for plenty of racing events. Joshua Tucker is in charge of that, and then Sunset Arctic Graphics. That's Dakota DeMate. He's the one that makes my liveries. So got a shout out to him, and got a shout out to boss man James Watson and Joshua Tucker and Chris Hill for helping me every week with getting the car tuned for the races. So thank you very much for interviewing me, Chris. I hope you have a good night.
All right, bud. Thank you much. We appreciate you hanging out with us here a little bit. And man, love the sponsor reads on that one. This guy, Joseph Morales, our runner-up tonight. Oh, so close. The battle with you and Joshua late there. Talk us through those last couple of laps once we went back to green.
It was I knew we were coming up on the leader who had older tires, and so did I believe second place had older tires, and I only had about 8 to 9 laps on mine, so I was able to run on the outside a little bit better, and I took a couple of different apexes on going into 1 and 2, trying to set up that last turn. But with the fog and the humidity on the track, you just weren't getting the grip, so it was either go or wall for me.
It's interesting that you say that because you would expect with a little bit lower temperatures to have a little bit more grip, but the track, it was so humid, you really didn't have anything to grip to. It's almost like you were hydroplaning a good bit. How difficult was it to keep the car under control for the tire runs that you guys were making?
It wasn't too bad as far as the tire runs. They were actually holding up pretty well. But you could just tell, especially when you were coming out of the turns, especially on 1 and 3, you could just tell you weren't having you didn't have the same grip that you would normally have. So that's why I did a couple of, like I said, I did make a couple of changes in the apexes, trying to give myself just a little bit more of a boost coming out of the turn, and it worked on those last couple of laps.
Then we get to the white flag lap, and I think it was Joshua or Drew was out ahead. Josh slides up the racetrack, so now you're got to be thinking, I've got to run at him. And then all of a sudden, the leader's almost up in the wall as well. Are you thinking I could possibly win this thing as you're getting to turn 2?
I was thinking that for a second, but then I was thinking about what happened about 8 laps before that. And I was thinking, maybe second isn't such a bad place, or even third, if that's where I'm going to be right at this point, because we were able to put a little distance between the 4th place car, so I didn't have as much dirty air on my rear wing, so I had a little bit more grip, and I think that's what helped me.
Well, I'll tell you what, it was a very smart points racing decision early in the season, and already having a great season to this point, currently sitting 4th in points, about 14 back, still very much in contention. So, Joseph, congratulations on picking up a 2nd place finish here at Pocono. And before we let you go, make sure you get all the sponsor plugs and thank yous in.
I appreciate all guys in the league. I appreciate all our sponsors. You guys are fabulous on the broadcast. We're a single car team. We live and learn in our practice sessions, and I want to shout out to my pit crews. They were awesome, and like I said, you guys on the broadcast are awesome, and I appreciate everything with the guys in the league.
All right, bud. Well, thank you much. We appreciate you checking in with us here, and man alive, what a drag race to the line it was between Joseph Morales and Joshua Tucker. And let's bring in the guy who came in a little bit on the short end of that stick, Joshua Tucker, our 3rd place finisher here tonight. Man, we're watching the drag race with you and Joseph to the line. Ultimately, I guess 10 laps was maybe a little bit too much to have on those tires late in the race.
Yeah, for sure. I kind of got tripped up in the pit lane shenanigans under that caution, and definitely kind of got the short end of the stick of it for sure. But it's fine. Pocono's not a particularly strong track for me, so to even get a podium, I'm super happy with. And Drew White's my boy. For him to get a win, I'm ultimately super stoked, and we definitely have a lot of celebrating to do.
Yeah, it sure sounds like it. And now you're going to be taking the points lead into a venue that I don't know that anybody has a ton of experience on, the New Hampshire Roval with the South Oval. It's a mouthful. How much practice are you going to have to put in there this week just to figure the place out?
I'm honestly gonna have to take a week off, fix it, and do nothing but this track if I want to be competitive. I don't think I have a shot to win at all. That's gonna be Mr. Chris Hill for sure. So, I'm calling that one now. I don't know if you want to give me the over under, but but yeah, we'll see. It feels good to have the lead, and we just got to keep this momentum. A lot of it's gonna come down to consistency and making the right choices, and I think staying on the bottom at Pocono is always going to be a right choice, as we saw.
All right, bud. Well, congratulations on the podium finish here tonight. And before we let you go, make sure you get all those sponsor plugs and thank yous in.
Yeah, my wife this time kind of yelled at last time. I'm kidding. She didn't yell at me, but she lets me do this crazy stuff. TWR, as always, my boy Drew White, and PRI and Christopher Hill.
All right, bud. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate you checking in with us. And man alive, that was fun. For all of those haters, including TJ McMurray, that's what I say to you. Pocono once again putting on a fantastic show for the IndyCars. And we've got more coming up here at 10:15 in the East. In fact, we got to get out of here to get ready to go. For the Indy Pro 2000 Championship, taking on Watkins Glen International and Das Boot, running the full layout. Well, I guess we'll get into that story when we're on there for Indy Pro, but the big long version with the boot, we're looking forward to it. Indy Pro 2000, always a fantastic race at Watkins Glen. Make sure you don't want to miss that one. Coming up next week, it'll be the Sim Racers Club. Heading off for, I believe, Daytona. I haven't checked their schedule recently, but we'll be doing that over the next 48 hours or so. Sim Racers Club on Wednesday night, 9 p.m. in the East. Going to be followed up on Thursday night by the High Side Hustle with Burt Wojcik and Adam Rubright. We'll be talking Freedom 76er at Grandview, what might be the last Freedom 76er that occurred this past weekend. Everything else going on in the world of dirt racing as well, followed by the ESRA INDYCAR Series, as we mentioned, heading off to New Hampshire, and the Indy Pro 2000 Championship. With that, we're getting on out of here so we can get ready for Indy Pro. For everybody here at the National Racing Network that makes these broadcasts happen, my name is Chris Graham. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We will talk to you all soon. Have a great night, everybody.